What's up, guys? This is Kalo, and normally I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Community Kitchen, where we're cooking up the latest and greatest gaming news headlines. And who better to join me today than Aiden? Why don't you say what's up?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our channel where we always talk about how great everything is on the Switch too.
We're always yapping, but before we get into that, we'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you guys that are liking these videos, subscribing to Game Sandwich, and if you're new here, do all that and join our community Discord where we're talking about our favorite games 24/7, 365. But I need to stop at the number 2 because we're talking about the Switch 2 today. A topic I know the comment I'm gonna get. I didn't think we'd be talking about it in this light, but here we are. This is how the way the world works. Apparently, the Switch 2 is kind of not performing up to snuff with certain games, that being Borderlands 4 and Elden Ring. That was a game which I will hang my hat on, that I said heading into the Switch 2, whenever it does get announced, that will be the benchmark for the Switch 2 and like how well it's gonna perform. And turns out it runs like Dookie. And I just want to say I'm going to pull from various articles from Eurogamer.net. We got articles from The Gamer and so on and so forth. But I want to start with Elden Ring. I first want to ask you, Aiden, does this surprise you in the slightest? And I know the answer, but I want to hear it vocally.
It does not surprise me in the slightest whatsoever because we all remember what happened when they put Doom and Skyrim on the original Switch, and both of those ran like complete crap as well, and people absolutely hated them. So, for the Switch 2 to be like, for Nintendo to be like, oh yeah, the Switch 2 is going to be able to run Elden Ring and run like Borderlands 4 and stuff, like, no problem. I immediately knew they were full of crap. I knew that they were not going to run properly. Borderlands 4 I was iffy on because that one's actually being built currently, and so they could actually optimize it for the Switch 2. So that one's a little bit more surprising, but Elden Ring's not surprising at all. And I mean, we watched it together. I mean, come on. Andrew was there too. He was saying immediately that Elden Ring was going to look like crap. And it looked terrible in the part of the video, like for the Nintendo Direct for the Switch 2 as well. Like, it did not look good. It looked choppy. Like real choppy. And the like graphics were like a little bit like frayed and everything. It was not pretty.
IGN got their hands on Elden Ring at Gamescom, and they said it was a quote-unquote disaster in handheld mode. As soon as you opened up the double doors to go into Limgrave and you see the Erd Tree, things started to chug, and they wanted to note that a single graphics mode with HDR was switched on. So this could all potentially change before the final release if they optimize it better. But apparently the game runs at 30 FPS, and it goes well below anything with a little bit of challenge that I assume would be a big boss or a lot of enemies that do come in. Now, I wanted to speak to this and do this subject matter today because over the weekend, I finally got time and I beat Donkey Kong Bonanza. And, I guess, yes, clap. I finally beat a game, and my backlog is one game shorter, but 1,000 games longer. I want to say spoilers, I guess, maybe. I mean, it's mid-August or late August, so you should have beaten it by then. But when you get to the final boss being King K. Rool, there's like a boss battle, and then there's the final boss battle. Whenever you get there, a lot of gunk starts appearing in the game. It's like a banana, like rotten bananas or whatever. The frame rate is disgusting. Like, it gets bad. Like, it's chugging. And this is a Nintendo game. This isn't like an Elden Ring. This isn't a Borderlands 4. This is a first party, like, launch title for the Switch 2 being Donkey Kong Bonanza. Everything in that game leading up to that point, it ran amazing. But whenever you got to that final boss fight, and I went and I did my research in case it was just me, other people experienced the same problem. It was bad and honestly inexcusable for a game like that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't made it to the final boss, so I can't speak anything to that. But while you were talking about that, I specifically was like doing a little bit of a dive into like the Elden Ring thing, and specifically after IGN released like the whole scathing report about Elden Ring, like From Software and Bandai Namco decided to just like post a video of Elden Ring playing on the Switch 2 in handheld mode. And like it seems like everyone's like, oh yes, this is in response to them releasing that because it seems fairly obvious that it was. And the video, it's like, oh hey, look, it plays good on handheld mode. And meanwhile, every single thing that they're doing is like, here's your character standing still and the camera's just panning around them. Yep.
Yep.
Totally, I totally believe it plays good. And like the final shot is that your character just taking like a couple steps, not even opening that first door into like the whole of Limgrave. It's the starting area before you get to Limgrave, like where you're supposed to die and then respawn. So it's not even that starting area where they even said that they had issues. So that makes it even funnier to me.
And this is a lot of credit leading up to the Switch 2's launch, where developers didn't really get their hands on dev kits before or shortly before the launch. And to kind of just say, all right, you got a couple months to optimize these demanding games for a portable console, it just seems like bad stuff all around. Now, moving on to Borderlands 4, Epic NNG on Twitter got their hands on Borderlands 4 at Gamescom. And apparently it could barely run at 30 frames per second with 4 enemies on screen in docked mode. That is what scares me. This is docked mode, not handheld, docked mode. And whenever I think about that, I don't have any reservations when that thing is plugged into the dock and it's playing on my TV. I think it should and it can run games really well. But to hear this game is running bad in docked mode, it's scary thoughts out here, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I saw that too, and oh my god, I actually watched video too of people like after that post, I watched a video of people like recording, hey, this is what the gameplay footage looks like for Borderlands 4 on the Switch 2, and they were like, it looks absolutely amazing. Look at this, everything, blah blah blah. They were trying to hype it up, and then when you actually watch the video, it runs smooth, but it's only running smooth because there's nobody on screen. It is a character, again, it's similar like the Bandai Namco thing where it's like, oh, the character's just standing there, they're looking at the world and like they're panning over slightly or they're like running in one location that's already preset. That stuff isn't going to fool people. You're not going to get people to suddenly be like, oh my god, the game looks amazing. Well, okay, you might get some people who are gullible, but still, you're not going to get a ton of people that way. You have to show like what it can handle. Can it handle the stress of like there being 50 enemies on the screen, which is, you know, a pretty constant for Borderlands games, where you have like 20 or 30 enemies on the screen and you're shooting and you're doing a big firefight. Like, come on. That if the Switch 2 can't handle that, I'm sorry, but that's very, very sad, especially because I bet you any money that the Asus ROG Ally will be able to handle it, and I also guarantee you that the Steam Deck will be able to handle it.
And to add on to what Epic NNG said, there was horrendous input delay and the render resolution was seemingly turned all the way down. So this is, again, it's a weird story because this console launched with Cyberpunk 2077, a game that is notorious for bugs, glitches, and being very demanding. To my knowledge and what I've seen out of that game and all the stuff it's been posted about the Switch 2, that game runs well. And it's like, how do we get from there to here? How does a first party Nintendo game fall flat at the finish line? And then we're getting these stories about games coming out. We're heading into the holiday season and suddenly it's like, will people hold off on the hot product being the Switch 2? I doubt it, but there could be some reservations if people are like, this thing does not run games well, I'm not going to buy it. Those conversations could start popping up.
Oh, I guarantee you they're definitely going to be popping up. And you know what, just to speak on Cyberpunk 2077, that game is 5 years old at this point. And so for it to be running on the Switch, I mean, yeah, I get the game's demanding everything, but for it to be running on the Switch too, I would expect it to run well at this point, just because they've had 5 years to optimize it really well.
I would say the same about Elden Ring too, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, Elden Ring at this point, it's 3 years old. So at this point, yeah, it should be running good too, I would assume. So that one, but that one I would also say is like probably more demanding from the
Oh
sense
yeah.
of like there's a lot more on screen that you're going to be seeing, and your
Hmm.
view radius is so much further than on like than like in Cyberpunk 2077, where you can easily like walk down a street and like load things as you go because stuff can be hidden behind buildings and everything. So like you don't really have that in Elden Ring. You have giant open landscapes.
Yep. And
But oh,
this was another problem I'm suddenly thinking about. There was a rumor that Starfield could be coming to the Switch 2 at some point. I heard, like, I assume Xbox is going to want to start funneling in games to this console to get more people playing them. What do we think about that? Like, Call of Duty was apparently supposed to launch on this console day one. It's not for Black Ops 7. So it's like, suddenly you're thinking of the games down the line, and this includes first party games if Donkey Kong's running like that at the final boss. So it's like, you start thinking about this, and I never try to be negative, but here I am being negative. I don't have confidence in the Switch 2, and that's something I never thought I would say so early on in the games or the console's life cycle, because it's like these are games that should be easy breezy, like you said, older games that you just kind of pop in, optimize, and boom, it's better hardware than the Switch 1. But right now, it's running like a Switch 1.
I mean, I will give credit where credit's due here. The Switch 2 is amazing at running Nintendo games
Mm,
and running any game that is meant for the hardware that's in it. It's meant for the PS4 or like the Xbox One. It's
yeah.
not meant to run games that are on the PS5 or on the Xbox Series X. The hardware's just not there for it. I know it's supposed to be, but there's no way it's going to be. I mean, Nintendo did a great job at like revitalizing what the Switch was and like making it better, but they didn't do a good enough job at making it anything that was like going to win any awards. I mean, I get it. People are excited. We're excited for the console. It's but face the facts here, people. It's not a good console for anything other than Nintendo titles. I'm sorry. I hate to break that to you, but it just isn't.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up because I'm looking on the horizon, like I said earlier. There's a game by the name of Dusk Bloods from Software, and it's like that's a multiplayer game. What's that gonna look like? It's
Oh, I bet
suddenly
you that one's gonna run bad.
it, suddenly things just start like piling up, and the doubt continues, and it's like, oh, you're gonna try to make a From Software game exclusively for the Switch 2. Maybe that changes things. Maybe that's like, oh, we built that with this console in mind. But it's like you can't run Elden Ring, you can't run Borderlands 4. Like, how good or bad is Duskblood's actually going to be? We got like that small trailer, but to my knowledge, that didn't have gameplay. So I don't know. Things are up in the air for the Switch 2, which is weird to say. What, 3 months into its life?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly like I have the Switch 2. I'm not disappointed that I have the Switch 2. I have played Donkey Kong for maybe about a couple hours on it. I haven't have really had time to play Donkey Kong that much, but so I've put a tiny bit of time into it. I'm not super impressed by Donkey Kong. I don't think it's getting any Game of the Year nomination things. I don't think it's worth it really. It's a fun game. Don't think it's amazing. I'm I honestly am like kind of upset for what's gonna happen with Pokemon like ZA,
Mm-hmm.
for instance. Like I kind of have a feeling that Pokemon Legends ZA is gonna go the way of like Scarlet Violet, where it's gonna be like, oh, really poor performance on this, like how that one had poor performance on the Switch. This one's gonna have performance issues on the Switch too, and we're gonna start seeing more demanding games that the Switch 2 just can't handle at all.
Mm-hmm. It's just a thing now, and whenever that seed of doubt is planted, suddenly everyone just starts it piles on. And again, this early into the Switch 2's life, it's like you didn't really expect this. Like, I know there are some people that just, oh yeah, of course I knew, like, what'd you expect, it's Nintendo. Yes, but at the same time, it's like, oh, you held off making this console for so long, and it's here, and now it just can't do the old games, which is equally as bad. So, I don't know. This is just where we're at now with the Switch 2. I hope it changes. I hope the optimization for games going forward, something magic happens there. But as of right now, that's all I got to say on this matter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to say other than Andrew was 100% correct. So go him.
Hashtag Andrew was right all along.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll get that trending for him. He needs it. But what you need to do is like this video, subscribe to Game Sandwich for more gaming content just like this, because this was Community Kitchen. I've been Kalo, joined by Aiden, and we'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed today's video and want more content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your news, rumors, and reviews. And we'll see you guys next time.